everyone. While I may not be attending Worlds, I'm still going to try out some competitive decks, and I think the best deck that I can play at the moment is the Netrunner's Andromeda deck, and this will be a pretty serious matchup. So, I draw into my opening hand. It's a very good hand. Remember that I'm up against HP Engineering the Future, which could be anything, because it really could be anything, because Engineering the Future is basically the default ID of HP, so you don't really know what to expect. But I have a very clear-cut opening, a very good opening at that. A sure gamble into 3 Econ cards, 2 Compromise Employees, and a Daily Cast. This will make me a lot of money. And to top that all off, I draw into 2 red cards. You always want to see your influence. There's a reason why you spend that influence. It's because it's better than the cards that you can find in faction, and because they're surprises, so you definitely want to see them. Parasite will help get rid of Annoying Eyes, and Corroder gets through the standard Eli's and whatnot that HP will be running. Or Nick Silver, yes, Nick Silver. Nick Silver will probably be dealt with by Parasite instead. Anyway, I begin running. That's a bronze. Very well, I'll bounce off. So that tells me that I need to quickly look for my Guardian Blade. Meanwhile, I run on R&D and force him to rest the Eli. Here I decide to click through. Because I've already spent the click to run, I might as well see one card. So here I access the Wall of Static. Okay, so it's a bunch of cheap ice. That should be something I am taking note of. Ice composition is very important in evaluating what kind of deck the opponent will be running. I draw the Account Cipher, which is pretty useless for now. I could install the Parasite on the next bronze. I don't think it's really worth it. Next bronze doesn't tax as much as next silver does, because Guardian Blade starts with 2 strength. So I would rather use my Parasite on a silver than a bronze. Much rather, in fact. I will be making many runs this game, and I would like to make them as efficient as humanly possible. Alright, so he reses the Adonis, and I surprise him by installing Corroder and trashing the Adonis. Now, I could decide not to trash the Adonis. Because HP will get rich anyway, you have to figure that money will come easily to HP due to their ID ability, which will only get accumulate as the game goes on. However, I decide to slow him down by trashing his Adonis, because there's no question about it. If I want to win, I cannot really rush out the game right now because I'm not seeing my Guardian Blade, so I need to at least slow him down as much as I can. But this doesn't help matters. He ABTs out 2 ice. Very ridiculous. That is not fun to see at all. And the worst thing is another next ice was res. So getting through this next ice is all going to be much harder, especially since I haven't found my Guardian Blade yet. So now the only thing I can do is to keep hitting his central servers, and hopefully I get to see more cards. The R&D interface hits the table, so hopefully my R&D runs will be more efficient, and he responds to that by icing up R&D. Now, clearly he wants to get some agenda scoring. Meanwhile, because of the roto turret on the remote, roto turret is very annoying to deal with if you don't have proper sentry breakers. I don't, but I do have a Parasite, and that is my trump card. So, I hope this works. I hope that he tried to sneak out an agenda without me knowing. So I parasited the rotor turret and ran through the Wall of Static with my Corroder. Let's see what I find. It's an ABT. He made a very big mistake here by attempting to sneak out an agenda. Why? Because you might not see the Parasite coming, but you definitely should be expecting the inside job against Criminal. So not only did he lose 2 points there, he actually swung 2 more points in my favor and wasted a click by doing so. So that was a very big mistake on his part that he shouldn't have made, but that didn't matter because he scored another ABT. Well, he didn't trigger it this time, but we are now even. Even though I've supposedly been playing pretty well so far, it doesn't cut it. I'm not doing as much as I need to be doing. So I make a big gamble by dirty laundering R&D, hoping that he cannot rest the outermost piece of ice because he just labeled the ABT out. So I click through the Eli. He doesn't rest ice, thankfully, so I get... Most important thing is I need to get that dirty laundry run off, so I can get 5 credits, which is enough to start doing stuff. Alright, he installs another remote. I cannot contest it this turn. If he scores the agenda, so be it. But it's not an agenda. It's probably a Sansan, the Sansan that I access off the top of R&D. And he does have enough credits to use it, so I'm very worried right now. The clock is ticking against my favor, and I still haven't found my Gordian Blade. I'm completely shut off from his HQ, which probably contains a couple of agendas. I finally find the special order that I need, but it's too late. The special order isn't going to do much. Because I'm pretty low on credits. So it's quite a mistake here. What I should have done was to liberate the HQ interface from the supplier, which has been sitting there for quite a while, and start inside jobbing his hand like crazy. I didn't think of doing that. Probably because it was a marginal play, but more importantly, observing his every move, you realize that he is probably not holding any agendas in hand, maybe any PDs. I'm pretty familiar with his kind of deck. Running Biotic Labor and Sensitivity Grids is exactly the same HP deck that I'm running, HP Fast Advance. You expect that the agenda composition includes any PDs, which he doesn't want to score. So, I first attempt to siphon him, because I am not getting multiple HQ access. So, first I siphon him, and then I proceed with one click left to trash his Sansan. That is obviously the right thing to do. In so doing, I leave myself with 2 tags, which is pretty painful considering that I have a HQ on the supplier, HQ interface, but, well, I had to take the risk, and he did blow the supplier up, which was unfortunate, but I don't think I need multiple HQ access. Now all I need is to run through R&D 3D. I only have 3 credits left, so I cannot keep tags. I cannot clear the tags, and there's not much need to clear tags anyway. Compromised employee has done his job, he has raised more than enough ice for me, and security testing, well, it's not very effective since he has ice on all servers. He's poor, so I run through R&D for free and see 2 cards, an ETH campaign and a next server. No luck there. The game goes on, he continues installing more cards and gaining more credits. He's definitely trying to pull himself out of this rut. And this is my big mistake. I trashed the other account siphon earlier on. I threw it in my heap thinking that I couldn't get into HQ because I couldn't see my Gordian Blade. But the second siphon would drastically set him back if I had kept it in my hand. Instead, I chose to keep the inside jobs, which I'm not using at all. So I run on R&D again, and this time he resists the Eli. I cannot pay through everything, so I bounce off. And I contemplate my final move, trashing my cards. I'm okay with bouncing off because I'm seeing 2 cards every time. So all I need to do is to maintain R&D lock is to run every 2 turns. Back to my turn. Thankfully, this isn't near Earth Hub. Near Earth Hub has a much easier time escaping R&D lock. So I run through R&D, clicking through the Eli because money is more valuable to me than clicks at this point. My resources are getting blown up and I cannot install more because I'm going tech me now. So wherever I can skip on credits, I definitely will attempt to. Running R&D is my main concern. Secondarily, it's running HQ because it's free. There are only 2 next ice, so the Desperado that I installed with the supplier will offset the cost of running through with Gordian Blade. I made 3 consecutive runs and I saw nothing. All I saw were a couple of big eyes. A Heimdall 1, an Ichi 2. That's about it. Yeah, I was hoping that he was hovering any PDs in his hand because those are the annoying agendas that he cannot really score. But that wasn't the case, and he fortified HQ, so I cannot lock him that easily either. Notice that I'm also starting to install the ferry. That's because I saw the architect off the top of R&D, which, yes, is something that you have to worry about when you're playing against near fast advanced, but especially against HP as well, because obviously it's in fraction and it's a very, very powerful sentry. Alright, so he continues demolishing my compromised employee, but that's only slowing him down. I don't mind. Right now he should be drawing cards and attempting to score 2 more agendas. Instead, he's giving me the chance to R&D lock, which I appropriately do. I break Eli with Corroder, and yes, I do see the architect trashing the ferry and clicking through the last Eli. 2 cards. Hopefully this will be game. ETH campaign, and efficiency committee. Finally, I get some respite. And yes, so he is running efficiency committee instead of NAPDs. Interesting. Well, efficiency committees are also very hard to score, so keep that in mind. His hand probably has one or two of them. It's just that I haven't been lucky with my accesses. So right now my main goal is to just make one more run on R&D, and probably that will net me the last agenda. We'll see how things go. Meanwhile, he gets his economy up. Now at this point, there's no hope in me stopping his economy. I've used up my account siphons and a lot of my economy abilities, and I cannot install any more resources. Remember, I'm still tagged. I do manage a run, and I see 2 shipments from Sensen. So yes, he's going all out fast advance with that efficiency committee combo. And because he's rich, he can afford to continue icing up R&D to the point where I cannot stop him. This is getting out of hand. My chance of winning the game is closing in very, very fast. So I think at this point I can only attempt to make one more run on R&D, after which it's game. I don't think I can do anything anymore. Thankfully, the single clone chip in my deck arrived just in time. It allows me to fetch a single ferry, allowing me to break through Architect. Very, very important. So yes, this is my last hope. I don't think I can get any more ferries to get past Architect, and Fem is way too expensive by this point. So I just need that one more run on R&D. Thankfully, I have at least one turn to do so, because he needs 2 turns at least to score 2 more agendas to win the game. In the meantime, I install Parasite on Eli, hopefully making my life easier. There's nowhere else I can throw my Parasite anyway. So as I said, if he sees an agenda, 3-2 agenda off the top of R&D, he's scoring it straight out. So right now, basically every time I'm playing, I have 2 turns to win the game. So right now I'm just solidifying my economy by clicking for credits time and again. Now here he makes a big mistake. He trashes his Eli. Eli is a very strong piece of ice. It still taxes for 2, even with a loaded Parasite on it, until it gets demolished, of course. And he has all the money in the world to install ice. So yes, I'm not sure why he actually chose to trash the Eli. But then I make a big mistake in return by running his HQ and allowing him to res next ice. So now it's getting harder and harder and harder for me to win. And he throws out a Biotic Labor. And a Sensen, double Sensen, scores the NAPD that was hiding in his hand. So now I have to win on this turn. If I don't win this turn, there is every chance that he will end up winning. He probably won't win next turn because he's used up all his Biotic Labors, but he could win. He can take money off the ETH campaigns and rest the Sensen, which is obviously hiding in the remote. So I need to make the glory run this turn. Otherwise, he could top deck a 3-2 to win the game. First, I see a Rotor Turret. I bring out Parasite using Clone Chip. That was something I was forced to do. And because he double Biotic last turn, he has very few credits left. He couldn't stop me running through. As a result, I was able to run through with Fairy and break Eli and access 2 cards and close out the game with Next Silver and Enigma. Okay, so I didn't close out the game. I'm getting really unlucky. Well, on the bright side, I still have a couple more turns to win, but it's pretty much impossible now because I've used up all my fairies and my clone chip. How am I going to get through Architect at this point? I can't. That's the answer. And there's no point drawing into the rest of my deck because it's pretty useless. Right now, the only thing I can do is to click for credits and attempt to find an agenda in HQ with at least 4 credits to steal an NAPD. I don't find it, unfortunately. And does he win? Nope. He's searching for his last agenda. And conveniently ices up R&D in case that wasn't enough ice already. 2 ETH campaigns gives him way too much money for me to stop him. He now has so much money that he can ice servers 5 or 6 ice tick if he wants to. And there's nothing I can do about such a server. So I make a last glory run through HQ. Hopefully it's not an NAPD. It's a Nick Silver. Well, what can I do? And a shipment from Sensen. yeah, I decided to go for the double card access instead of stealing the single access with any PD. Oh well, that didn't work out. It must have been at least, I don't know how many successful runs I've made, but I'm still not seeing that final agenda I need to close the game. I don't know. At this point, I'm feeling rather defeated. With only one credit to my name, no more sentry breakers, and no resources to fuel my economy, I can only click for credits and wait for him to win the game. Right? He gains credits, and what can I do? I find my sure gambles, luckily, but that's not going to do much. Meanwhile, he reshuffles everything back with Jackson Howard, and does he win now? Because he's reshuffling the Baltic labels back so that he can start scoring his agendas out. Does he top deck it? Does he? Nope. But he ices something up. So, yeah. Good luck getting through that. You don't have a sentry breaker. I do not want to run without a proper sentry breaker out. But it doesn't matter. He finds the Sansan and scores the Vitruvius for the win. Well, that was a horrible game for me. I did try my best, and this deck really proves that it does very well at what it was designed to do, which was to ensure to maximize the number of accesses you can get through the early and mid game. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough today. I still maintain that HP Fast Advance is a very powerful deck archetype. Probably not as good as Near of Hub. Near of Hub would have closed this game out long ago, but HP has always this alternative route where you just build up super servers with lots and lots of ice, and criminals just don't really have the staying power to last past the mid game, and that was clearly illustrated in this game. I went tag me after the account siphon because it's, to me at that point, it seemed like I could quickly close out the game with a few clutch runs after that, taking advantage of the timing window where he was locked down in poverty. Unfortunately, those runs didn't net me the agendas I needed to win the game, so the tags ended up being more of a liability. I should have cleared them in retrospect, but well, you have to take your chances. This is Netrunner after all. Thanks for watching and happy net running. Goodbye.